Today on the channel, we take a trip to the Playhouse with Pee Wee Herman and Terry from NECA.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another NECA Toys unboxing and review. And today on the channel from NECA, we got the latest and greatest. We've got Pee Wee Herman and Terry. But for all your NECA toy needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% on all in-stock items. Anything over $79 does ship free. Currently, as I'm filming this, $39 for the holidays. Gotta get a deal out there. All kinds of savings at Entertainment Earth, of course. But we're, of course, going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And Pee Wee Herman makes his NECA Toys debut. Unfortunately, of course, we do know Pee Wee died not too long ago here in 2023. Apparently, he'd been battling cancer for some time and finally succumbed to the disease. But Pee Wee, a guy that's had figures over the years, of course, going all the way back to the 80s. And if you were a kid of the 80s like myself, you definitely remember Pee Wee Herman. I think if you're a kid of the 90s, 2000s, all and forward, you know Pee Wee Herman as Pee Wee's Big Adventure, a favorite movie of mine when I was a kid. And then, of course, his own TV series, which I absolutely did love. Loved him all the way up to Big Top Pee Wee, maybe. Who knows? But Pee Wee was a big part of my childhood and many others of my age bracket. And then, of course, Pee Wee fell off the radar for a few years, if you look that story up. And then he came back, some new specials, things like that, and he was Pee Wee once again. But not a lot of figures over the last few years. However, that brings us to today's review where NECA has signed Pee Wee Herman. And I think there was an interview with Randy Falk around San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe it was New York Comic-Con, actually, where he was talking about him and Pee Wee had become friends. And it sounds like they've signed Pee Wee to a toy licensing agreement. Now, with his death, I'm not sure how that goes. But, of course, his estate's probably handling all that. And I would not be shocked to see more Pee Wee Herman figures from NECA. I'm sure we'll get some more of the gang from, of course, Pee Wee's Playhouse. But would not be shocked to see an Ultimate Edition Pee Wee Herman. Maybe one of those kind of Mego-style Pee Wee Hermans. This one actually kind of reminds me of the Toonie Terror line in a lot of ways. So that we'll probably get more of those. We'll see, but I think the future is pretty bright for Pee Wee Herman collectibles from NECA Toys. So we'll see what the future brings right there. But right now, we're going to dive into this one. Very simple. Not going to be a long review with this one, I don't think. But it is very Toonie Terror style, card art packaging kind of style. Definitely a lot more colorful though, and a little bit more friendly. Not so much terror on this one, but a lot of Toonie going on. But you do at the top right here get Pee Wee Herman, you get NECA. Ages 14 and up, you 13-year-olds, get out of here. You don't know anything about Pee Wee. We got Pee Wee and Terry down here, and Terry with a P, of course, pterodactyl. Man, blew little Kyle's mind when he was a little kid, when he was like second, third grade. What is time? What is school? I don't know. But I remember as a little kid thinking how to spell pterodactyl. You think it starts with a T, and then they throw that P in there. Just blew my mind. I could not wrap my head around it, and obviously I can't wrap my head around it until this day, because it still bring me flashbacks back to like second or third grade when I figured that out. But it is Terry with a P down there. But Glamour Shot is all cartoon action. Very cool inside. I don't think there's a lot of posability with these, but we're going to dive in. We're going to find out what's going on. Yellow background on the card, of course. And then you got Pee Wee and Terry on the back. Look at that. Looking awesome back here. Got the Pee Wee logo at the top. Looking pretty good there. And it does say, Pee Wee Herman is the name. Don't wear it out. Go on your own big adventure with this posable, stylized action figure. Pee Wee stands just over 5 inches tall, so Pee Wee's 5 inches. There you go. And comes complete with a display stand and his good pal Terry. How about that? 2023 copyright Paul Rubens. So there's a little mystery there. And actually, in about a couple of weeks, I'm headed to San Antonio, Texas. I've never been to San Antonio in my entire life. I know that's a town that loves their heavy metal, so I should fit right in. But I am going to San Antonio. One of the big things I want to do, besides going to the wrestling figure shop down there, Of course, I got to work, have some meetings to go to, but I got to go to the Alamo. I have to see the Alamo. And Pee Wee Herman, for a whole generation, brought the Alamo to the forefront. I remember, I don't even think I knew what the Alamo was until Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Then later on, I found out about Ozzie and his misadventures, of course, at the Alamo, adding to its history. And then John Wayne. I had to take classes in college. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I better put this down. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but yes, it's true. I am one class away from a minor in film. It is true. One of these days I'll finish that off. But I did do 2 semesters of John Wayne study. All shout out to John Wayne. Birthplace right down the road from me. John Wayne, I did do studies, and I did see the Alamo back in the day, of course. And then I was like, you know, I'm starting to understand this Alamo just wasn't about Ozzie peeing on it, and of course Pee Wee's Big Adventure. But I will, once and for all, find out if there is a basement in the Alamo. I hear there isn't, but I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna try to find out the answer to that. So there you go. The more you know about Pee Wee Herman. But there it is. Let's get Pee Wee off the card here. We're gonna get down to business. We're going to pull old Pee Wee out. Got a little card inside. Nothing too fun there. We'll give the old see you later. Goodbye. And oh, he does come with the stand. Shout out to stands. I'm here for a stand all day long. There it is. I'm going to take my last stand at the Alamo, of course. But there it is. Speaking of last stands, really, the Alamo, the ultimate last stand. All right, we're getting down to business here. We got Terry uncorked. And now we got Pee Wee out of the package. There it is, plus the stand. See you later. Whoa, almost took out the screen. That was a close one. But you know what they say, horseshoes and hand grenades, stuff like that. But let's get down to this. Let's go through the stand. A very, very small little stand. What's it say? Pee Wee Herman, 2023, Paul Rubens, NECA, China. Right there, so a black little stand. And then you get Terry, a very warranted accessory here. One of his best buds on the show, of course. And this looks to be just a straight-up accessory. No movement out of Terry here. But all day long, you know it's Terry. Just a heart of gold on old Terry. Green and yellow, of course, birthplace, Oakland, California. Oakland A's fan with Terry. I think Terry grew up in the 70s, the Reggie Jackson era, so got to see a lot of good games back in the day. Shout out to Reggie. Shout out to Rich Goose Gossage. Shout out to Raleigh Fingers. Shout out to the Oakland A's of the 70s. But Terry going to be a hard one to stand, I have a feeling. Oh, nope, there it is. You can use Terry's little tail as a stand, or a little tail action. But yellow, small little feet, big wingspan there, little yellow hands, nice little head. Would have been cool if it had some articulation, but you can't ask for the world sometimes. But there's old Terry and the stand. Now we get down to the main event. We get down to old Pee Wee himself. Pee Wee looking only like a Pee Wee could look if he was in a Toonie Terror stylized action figure line here. One of the classic Pee Wee moves right here. It looks like he's getting ready to do his special dance or something. But of course, Pee Wee, we know him from that gray suit. We know him from that red bow tie and that white undershirt. And then, of course, the touch of class with the pocket square going on. Looking good on Pee Wee. And I don't think anybody would ever mistaken this for somebody else. You see this head, you know it's Pee Wee all day long. A little bit cartoonier than he actually was, and that's saying a lot. But I think it fits right in. You know this is Pee Wee Herman all day long. Big old mouth open, tongue showing, a little bit of teeth action. Eyes looking up to the side there. Probably looking at Large Marge. That's where he could be. Who knows? Black, jet black hair on old Pee Wee here, looking good. And he's got the 2 hands going out just off to the side. Looks like he's going to wait some tables. Who knows what he's going to be doing? But it does look really good. Good skin tone on this one here, of course. Got those white kind of platform shoes. Very iconic. He's going to knock over a few motorcycles if you're not careful. Now, he does got articulation here. Oh, very tight articulation, but the arms go all the way around. Not sure if that's really needed because it makes him look very unnatural and strange if you move the arms. He's really just needs to be stuck in the position he is in. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know what other position. It would just look weird with his arms backwards, like he's trying to do something he shouldn't be. I don't know. And this arm, very tight. Oh my gosh, thought I was going to break it for a second, but looks very strange. So really, there is articulation, but it's really not needed. I don't know if people would complain if there wasn't. I don't know, but it is strange there. But you do get ankle articulation as well. Once again, is it really needed? I don't know. And I guess you could say that about most of the Toonie Terrors line, which we'll call this a sister line to the Toonie Terrors. But let's see, does he fit on the stand? And only 1 foot will work with the stand, so you got to put that in there. Oh my gosh, and it doesn't even want to go on the stand, so we're going to have to see what that's all about. That seems a little bit strange. You come with the stand, but it doesn't even work for you. Oh my gosh, you got to really work it in there back and forth, but he will fit on the stand if you just work it back and forth there. Move that foot there. And there's old Pee-wee. Can I get him to stand on the stand, though? He's got a weird kind of lean, a weird sideways look to him, but there it is. He stands on the stand, and then I think you put Terry kind of on there as well. Kind of loop her around his foot maybe to get him to stand, and bam, you're off to the Pee Wee Herman races all day long from NECA. So an interesting one, a little bit of a statue, a perfect desk display there, though. If you were a kid of the 80s loving yourself some Pee Wee Herman, this is great for your office at work. You have this on the stand, wearing your Pee Wee love on your chest, who knows, celebrating the life of Paul Rubens, whatever you need to do. But it's great for what it is, and this is one of those ones not going to break the bank. I think they're like $13.99, $14.99, something like that, depending on the store you buy it from. So a nice little desk display, a nice little collection. However, would not be shocked to see more Pee Wee Herman stuff, and it would be kind of cool to get the whole Playhouse gang in this form kind of all together, maybe a cardboard backdrop. That would be a pretty cool little display if you're a big Pee Wee Herman fan. But I would be very interested in a Pee Wee Herman Ultimate in the future. I think that could be in the cards. We'll see what happens with that one, but I got to think that'd be a pretty good seller. I just hope they go the Ultimate route and not the Mego, Misfits, Golden Girls, that kind of route. Those are okay, but they're not quite the same as our normal Ultimates, and that's what I want. So very interesting times for Pee Wee Herman in 2023, to say the least, but I'm here for something like this, especially a cheap one that doesn't really break the bank on you. A very good figure here from NECA, and of course, Pee Wee Herman. But what's your thoughts? You picking up Pee Wee? You playing the long game in Pee Wee? Are you picking up your Pee Wee? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and of course, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and the other YouTube channel. We got 2 YouTube channels. Make sure you subscribe to them, and of course, early access to both channels' videos on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support the content and videos like this. You can also support the channel, ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget to hit me up on social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Pee Wee Herman, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.